Hey there, I'm Raquel Richards, and this is What Are You Drinking? The pod on alcohol. Before I start, I have to legally mention all opinions expressed on this podcast are not that of my employer. Let's talk beer. You're going to love this one. Lots of fun. Lots of fun. Juicy Ass IPA from Flying Monkeys Brewery. They're located in Barrie. Now, I remember around 2011-ish, I believe, when I was working at a popular establishment in Leslieville, a neighborhood in Toronto, Canada, called Strattingers. It was a total dive, but it made the best wood oven pizzas and Indian food. And I had lots of fun working there. Well, one of the reps or owners, I didn't know at the time, of Flying Monkeys came in and left a 6-pack of Optical Illusion in bottles for the owner to check out and see if he wanted to carry it. I don't recall us ever serving it, but what I found unique was the colorful label on the bottles. And of course, the name was different for that time. And a lot of Flying Monkeys names still are very different than what is out there. And their cans are very, very colorful. You know, Flying Monkeys has been brewing radical beers and creative ales in Barrie for quite some time, around 2008-ish, I'm going to say. The Flying Monkeys was the first craft brewery to truly usher in a new culture of craft brewing in Ontario. And you know what's cool? They believe normal is weird. I can't disagree. Since late 2008, Flying Monkeys has developed distinctive brews. They've won over 75 national and international awards. And get this is really cool. And on June 5th, 2015, they sent their beer, Super Collider 2.0 Double IPA, into space. Yep, you heard me. Into space. A beer. So, the Beer in Space was a really cool project, and it was curated by Flying Monkeys founder Peter Chiodo, with the help of their office neighbors, Tiger Shark, which is an internet company in Barrie as well. So what they did is they made an aviation device with a drone attached to capture all the sights the Super Collider saw. The device was attached to a huge balloon to help it travel into the atmosphere until it basically burned out. And the whole adventure took 11 hours and traveled 115 kilometers from Barrie. So if you watch their YouTube video, you can see the link in the podcast notes so you can watch this video. You can see it went up really high. And the view, I would say, is similar to what you see from an airplane, if not maybe a little higher, but definitely way up there. It is really cool that they did this. And why did they do it? They did this just to do it. And that to me is just great. Normal is weird. So Flying Monkeys has brewed 20 different beers, and the one of those 20 beers that I'm going to review is the Juicy Ass IPA. Juicy Ass. Juicy Ass. You just gotta love to say that. And the taste. I'm going to just say before I get into the taste, though, is that I'm not normally an IPA drinker. Not at all. I don't really like the heavy alcohol content. I don't like the heaviness of it, of an IPA. I prefer something a little lighter. But with Juicy Ass, it totally changed my mind. But it is pretty much the only IPA. It is the only IPA that I drink. It's at 6.8% alcohol per volume, and it's packed with juice. Hence the name, Juicy Ass. It moshes bright, fruity notes, dank, hoppy bitterness, and fresh, verdant resins with sticky malts for a softly carbonated, unfiltered flavor. Juicy Ass glistens with an unfiltered golden color and aromas of tangerine, pine, citrus, and a touch of caramel make you want to try it. Yes, it smells that good. And I say it's like drinking a citrus beverage on a hot summer day. But for me, it's good all year round. And it is the perfect host gift for the beer drinker who maybe doesn't drink IPAs. It's kind of a good introductory IPA. Now, what appeals to me about Juicy Ass, as I mentioned, I'm not an IPA drinker, is that it's brewed with the ambrosia of fruity hops, creating a smooth, flavorful brew with no harsh IBUs. And IBUs are what you'll find in these IPAs. As I mentioned, this would make a great introductory gift to somebody who's never really had an IPA and who is interested in trying one. It's, on the lighter side, so a real hardcore IPA drinker may not necessarily like all the citrus that Juicy Ass has. The brew of Juicy Ass. The malts are 2-row pale malt, carrid. What is carrid? It is a drum roasted caramel malt. Now the hops are Amarillo, Citra, Mosaic, and Simcoe. And the dry hopped is more Amarillo, Citra, Mosaic, and Simcoe. That's what makes it so fresh and juicy and juicy. Now with many IPAs, there is some really good food pairings. And with Juicy Ass, it perfectly pairs with like rich pub type foods, classic fish and chips, Indian curries, caramelized grilled meats, and creamy cheeses like brie or gorgonzola. I really love Juicy Ass. The color of the can is very bright and vibrant, much like a lot of Flying Monkeys cans are. And I was shocked that in Ontario, the name was even passed to be sold in the stores with the name like Juicy Ass, because stuff like that have to go through a really rigid process before something can be released if the name is considered to be racy, just not appropriate, I'll just say. But you can't, the word Juicy Ass really blends into the label. But to me, it is one of my favorite beers. I always buy it if I'm buying some beer, and as a collective and mixing things up, I always will buy it. It comes in cans, doesn't come in bottles. And it's from Flying Monkeys, which are in Barrie. And they have a tap room that you can go there and drink and have some food. I'd love to go, but I live in Toronto, so I will make my way there and check it out. So with all this Juicy Ass talk and some food, you know what I think I'm going to do? I think I'm going to get myself a Juicy Ass, and I'm going to get some Indian curry dish. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do, and I'm going to call it a day. And that's what I have to say about Flying Monkeys Juicy Ass. I'm Raquel Richards. Thanks for sipping with me on What Are You Drinking? Check out our socials. You'll find them in the podcast notes below. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, TikTok, YouTube, and Pinterest. Drink responsibly. Until next time, cheers.